Iran and Saudi Arabia are two predominantly Muslim countries that have often been in conflict and tension to dominate the Middle East region for a long time. Each follows one of the two main sects of Islam. The situation has heated up again due to accusations from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that Iran is planning an attack. You must be curious between these two countries. Which one is stronger? In our first discussion, we will touch on both countries in terms of economic strength overall. According to the International Monetary Fund, Iran has a GDP of approximately 11173 trillion, slightly larger than Saudi Arabia's at approximately $1.04 trillion. However, based on GDP per capita, Saudi Arabia is larger than Iran. Saudi Arabia ranks 27th with a GDP per capita of approximately. Iran is 84th with a GDP per capita approximately $1332. What causes Iran's GDP per capita to be lower, even though its national GDP is above Saudi Arabia's? We will discuss that in a moment. First, let's talk about their foreign debt. In reality, Saudi Arabia's debt larger, placing it at 35th according to global firepower data. The total is about $25 billion, which is much more than Iran's, ranked at 110th with a debt of about $8 billion. One of the problems in Iran is the unemployment rate there. The unemployment rate has reached alarming and worrying levels. Because is the sanctions from the international community related to nuclear issues, compounded by the impact of COVID-19, which has led to a surge in unemployment, inflation, and crisis amid the turmoil. The national Iranian oil company remains triumphant after discovering new oil fields. Its revenue is fantastic, reaching $110 billion. However, no matter how large New York is it cannot surpass the might of Saudi Aramco, the world's most valuable energy company. Saudi Aramco even surpassed Apple at the top, the average total revenue. Saudi Aramco is about $1. 93 trillion as members of OPEC. Oil has indeed become the main export commodity for both Saudi Arabia and Iran. However, Saudi Arabia is the world's largest in this regard. Its total revenue from crude oil exports reaches $1 billion per day. On the other hand, due to sanctions, Iran is limited in its oil exports. Iran's total revenue is only at the level of $300 million. After the sanctions are lifted, Iran plans to increase its oil exports following the discovery of its new giant oil field. The increase is expected to reach 34. Previously, Iran was in the 4th position, but with its new reserves, it is projected to rise to the top 3, closely trailing Saudi Arabia at the top. For Iran to rise, the consequence is an increasing amount of debt. Even Iran's budget deficit is larger than Saudi Arabia's. Speculations suggest that a significant budget is allocated to the defense sector due to Iran's involvement in various political conflicts, especially in Syria. If you have ever visited both countries, you would feel a significant difference in the cost of living. In fact, the cost of living in Saudi Arabia is 30 higher than in Iran. However, the cost of renting a house in Saudi Arabia is 18 cheaper than in Iran. Infrastructure is an interesting topic for discussion. If modernization is measured by high-rise buildings and luxurious shopping centers, major cities, then Saudi Arabia is more advanced. However, infrastructure development in Iran is considered by many experts to be more massive and more effective. In fact, as of 2019, there are still about 3,045 miles of unpaved roads in Saudi Arabia, while Iran has only half of that, around 17. 400 mil, the limitation on Iran's oil exports due to global sanctions, has been a serious issue for nearly 40 years. This is compounded by inefficient tax collection and a continuously swelling population, which is even 2.5 times larger than that of Saudi Arabia. This population size is not proportional to the number of jobs created to absorb the workforce. Although Iran's area is not larger than Saudi Arabia's, Iran once implemented policies regarding and population management, but now faces a new problem. It is estimated that Iran will become the country with the largest elderly population in the world in the next 30 years. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is also heading towards a problem similar to Iran's, namely a population surge. Both countries emphasize religiosity at every level of their education system. Saudi Arabia allocates a large budget for education, making all levels free, both public and private. However, ironically, the literacy rate in Saudi Arabia is lower than in Iran. In Iran, about 18% of the population is free from illiteracy, while Saudi Arabia has reached only 79%. The rate of school dropouts is also higher in Saudi Arabia. Indeed, the number of universities in Saudi Arabia is far fewer than in Iran. However, the ranking of Saudi universities is better. King Abdul University is ranked 109th, while the best university in Iran, University of Technology, is only at 381 music tours. In terms of healthcare, Iran is far behind Saudi Arabia. This is also reflected in the happiness level of its population. The outbreak of protests across Iran due to the crisis has further worsened the situation there. Iran is ranked 116th, far behind Saudi Arabia, 26th, and only 30 places away from Afghanistan, which is considered the least happy country in the world. However, Iran has made progress. Healthcare sector. Since the Islamic Revolution, there have been improvements in healthcare facilities, growth in medical universities, and advancements in medical equipment. Despite these developments, Saudi Arabia still leads in this area. According to the data in terms of sports, neither country is particularly outstanding in the World Cup. Iran has qualified 6 times, but never advanced to the round of 16. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia, having participated in the World Cup 5 times, only managed to reach the round of 161, the head-to-head. Record between the two is fairly balanced. In 3 meetings, Saudi Arabia has won once, with the other 2 matches ending in draws. However, in the Olympics is quite stark. Iran has collected a total of 76 medals, including 24 gold, 23 silver, and 29 bronze. Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, has only 12 medals and no gold medals. In terms of military strength, Iran is ranked higher at 14th, while Saudi Arabia is at 20th. This is despite Iran spending less on its military budget compared to Saudi Arabia. Iran has significantly developed its military and is considered one of the top 5 serious threats to the United Nations